Hi, this is Paula, and we're having a special episode of Whoever Holds the Stone here with my special guest, my husband, Gregory Sterlace, in his Boy Howdy shirt, and Richard Wicca, and of course, my son Tom on drums. This is very exciting. It's been, would you say 4 months? 4 months. This is the first show in 4 months. I hope you haven't been holding your breath out there. Because I can't believe it's been that long. It's just been a lot happening. And that's one of the reasons we're here today is because Greg wanted to talk about what's been happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't remember saying that.
You don't remember saying that? You'd said to me,
No.
remember you made that long list of things you wanted to do after
Yeah.
we watched that comedy special?
After Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt. It brought him out of his reverie. And Patton Oswalt had his whole special was, kind of talking about being on antidepressants and how they're helping him and Greg decided he wanted to do this show and he wanted to talk about what he learned since all this happened. I didn't bring anything to read or anything. I was counting on you to take the lead here.
Yeah,
kiddo.
I know you told me before we left the house, you sprung it on me that I was going to be talking about myself. I didn't remember that. I just remember thinking that it would be nice if you did your show again. But I don't mind talking about myself.
Yeah, I thought because you've had so many insights since this whole thing happened months ago.
Well, I feel like I've had more insight into life and profound insights into life. And sometimes when I lay them on you, then it sounds lame. I think that I definitely I thought about death a lot more than I ever thought about death before, and how I thought of things I never occurred to me before. Like number one would be that if once you're alive and you're in the womb, you're always going to have that alive feeling forever, because something I never thought of before. That if you, of course, you have the alive feeling from the womb till death. So there's that. But I never thought about the fact that if it's nothingness, when your heart stops and if your mind goes off and it's nothingness and you're not Joe Smith anymore, then it means the last thought you have is an alive thought. It's a thought when you're alive.
Right.
You have a live feeling. And you're not going to, if it's nothingness, you're not going to know, you're not going to have any, it's not like you're in a dark room thinking, I'm relieved that I'm dead and nothing's happening. No, if it actually is nothingness and you're not Joe Smith anymore or whoever the hell you were, so that will leave you with always having the alive feeling. Always. There is no death feeling. And if there's an afterlife, and you're Joe Smith still, then you still have an alive feeling because it's an afterlife.
Oh, that's right.
It's not an after death. And of course, if you are someone else, but you don't remember that you're Joe Smith, then it's moot that you were Joe Smith. It doesn't even matter that you were Joe Smith. Even if you were Joe Smith and now you're, Tracy Hepburn in the afterlife, it doesn't matter because. So you're always going to have the alive feeling. That scares me. I used to think that it'd be great if you went to heaven, or if you had, and what would not be great, but would be okay, maybe would be nothingness. And I used to think nothingness sounds. Now I'm dying for nothingness. I think it'd be great to have nothingness. I mean, it seems like that would be because heaven seems like such a far-fetched concept. That, as far as I can tell, you're either from my feeble human mind. You're either when you die, there's 5 things that can happen. If you want to count one of them as a singular one, the 4 main things that people can understand, or I can understand, would be you die and it's nothing, absolutely nothing, because your mind goes off and you don't have any consciousness anymore, and your body doesn't move anymore, so it's just nothing.
Right.
Or there's what people have come up with, these fake concepts of, these concepts of heaven and hell. Generally, when people say heaven or hell, they mean 100% heaven, 100% hell. They don't say heaven and hell mixture. So you got either nothingness, which is one thing it can happen when you die. That's possible. Number two, that it's possible, even though it's more far-fetched than nothing, is hell and heaven, or two things, heaven and hell. And fourth is heaven/hell, a heavenly feeling and hellish feeling. Well, you already have that in life. You already have good moments and bad moments, hellish moments and heavenly moments.
So a continuation of what we experience.
Well, a continuation
on
of
this
the
plane.
same.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be life necessarily, because it's the afterlife, but it would have positive and negative. And then the fifth thing would actually be, I guess the usually the number that people use for the most, they say trillions. It could be infinity, but there could be an infinite amount of things that we can't understand as human beings that happen in the afterlife. So that's the fifth thing. It's not heaven, it's not hell, it's not a heaven-hell mixture, which you don't really hear about. It's not nothing, which you hear about. It's something, but we can't grasp it as human beings. And there could be so many trillions, or it could be infinite number of things that are
Right. Well, that's always been the thing with religion, is we're told it's beyond your understanding, and lately I don't know if it's a belief. I don't think it's a belief, but lately I've been thinking about this idea of this particles of one thing, that everything goes back to this one thing. And I like it. I don't know if I believe it, but like today when I was looking at the jellyfish, I tried to get into that mindset that the jellyfish are part of me. And I was just like so into these jellyfish, and I was watching them, and they're like so graceful. And I tried to have that connection. And I think I'm imagining things, but I think they started coming toward me when I did that. They were attracted to my vibe. So, that's probably bullshit. But that's my new idea that I like, and it makes me happy when I look at everything in the world that's incredible, and I think, hey, I'm part of this. This is pretty cool. So that's my new thing that keeps me happy. But I can't get Greg on that track.
What track?
The everything is God thing.
Well, it's using your own definition of the word God. I mean, it's
not mine. I didn't make it up. It's part of.
You're using a rarely used definition of the word God. The 8 billion people on the planet, the word God does not usually mean that. The vast majority, as you know, do not think it means that everything.
So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why do you have your eyes closed?
I'm trying to concentrate.
Okay. All right. I'm just curious. Okay, Mr. Trump.
Huh?
Okay, nothing. I'm making a joke.
So you can use God as everything, but it's not the way the vast majority of people on the planet don't use it that way. That's why I'm saying it's your definition. It's not your definition. I mean, you didn't make it up, but it's a rarely used definition of God. It's not what we're talking about. Not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
God is. I'm using it the way people use it, which is it's a spirit in the sky, or a spirit. It doesn't have to be in the sky, but a spirit or entity or force that created everything.
Right.
And some people think that, of course, that not only did this force create everything, but you can have a personal relationship with it, and it can control your life. It can grant you miracles and grant your wishes from prayer. But I feel like
this is kind of it's a Spinoza thing. That's a Spinoza.
What's the Spinoza thing?
The particles. Oh. But it's funny how it comes, I'm finding it in a lot of things now. So in Gnostic in Gnosticism, they have a similar belief in specks of light, that the human beings, that some minor deity stole the spark of life from the creator God and put it into these flawed creatures that were made by this demigod. So I mean, I can see it now that I'm thinking about it. I'm seeing it in more places. That's all.
Well,
So it's not really it's not something people usually think about God, but I think it is kind of a spiritual belief system that some people have.
yeah, but very few compared to the 8 billion people who are alive. It's not a billion people who believe that.
No, it's not.
It's not probably 100 million people who believe that. So, I mean, also, but the devil comes into it. But people have made up this devil concept, or devil, Satan, Lucifer, whatever.
It's very, very rarely mentioned in the Old Testament.
Yeah, but I mean, some people believe in hell, and some people believe that the devil controls hell, and devil controls evil in the world, and all that stuff. And the thing is, the Bible portrays God as being bad and good.
Mm-hmm.
If you think it's bad, for instance, to drown everybody except Noah and his family.
If you think that's bad, yeah.
If you think that's bad or
I
evil,
think that's
then
bad and evil. Also, killing all the people that lived in the land that he said he was giving to the Israelites. That was pretty bad.
yeah. So I mean, so God is in the Bible is portrayed as bad and good, which means good and evil. Therefore, you don't really need the devil figure for evil. You already have God for good and evil.
Right, and
even though
in the beginning, when the devil is first mentioned, there's a really good chance that it was the king of Mesopotamia that they were referring to. That it wasn't an evil deity. It was the king of Mesopotamia that was being referred to as Satan. So it is something. Of course, everything's been made up. This whole business has been made up, and Moses made up God because he needed to control a bunch of people. He was trying to get across a desert. He needed something.
well, but I mean, I don't believe it for sure, but there could be a God, because it would explain how all this happened. But then again, there's always where did God come from if there was a God, and who created things. So
right.
I mean,
that goes along with the fact, like you said, that our minds are limited. So therefore, there might be a trillion different variations of what God might be that we just has never occurred to anyone.
Of course, but I mean, I'm just saying. Generally, the vast majority of the time, that human beings are. When they think of God, they think of a spirit or force that creates the world.
Yes.
And as for life, if you're lucky enough to have a pretty good life, which a lot of people are, I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of people would probably say they had a pretty good life. So I mean, it's probably over 50%, but you can't really tell about the percentages because you'd have to ask all 8 billion people and get a frank answer. So
not a Facebook answer.
Maybe it's 20% people think they've had a good life or a decent life because there's so much pain and suffering. So, but I think all the people that think they've had a good or decent life because they've had good or great luck with life could say, okay, I'm glad I was born, and I'm glad the womb went well. I'm glad my life went well, and now I'm here in the moment, and that's it. And the future is unwritten. So basically, I just think despite all my complaining about the pain and suffering of my life and of life itself, that's in life itself, I think that I had greater good luck a lot through my life, and the womb went great as far as I know. It went swimmingly, and 61 years have gone well for me. And then here I am with you and Tom and Richard, and it feels good. And the future is unwritten. So I mean, it's logically I shouldn't have any negativity about the future. I just think, well, it's great to have lived life, and it's great to have had a good life, and it's great to have had a good time in the womb, and it's great to have this time right now where I'm sitting with the three of you, and that's about it. And then death. I'm scared now that AI will prolong people's lives, because if it prolongs people's lives, it might think it's doing a good thing or it's doing the right thing, and it might think I should prolong human beings' lives. And unfortunately, you might be in a place where you have a lot of pain and anguish already, and you don't want your life prolonged. You know, like if you have if you're having a bad time, or let's say you're 91 years old or 101 years old, and you're totally shot, and then AI comes along and saves you and keeps you alive forever. So I'm worried about that. So I hope that doesn't happen to people, including me. I hope.
Well, that would be.
I hope I don't get worse and worse and older, and then AI keeps me alive.
Yeah, AI would have to make that decision. So
no, but
it's
I mean,
not at
AI,
that point yet.
I mean, they talk about AI maybe making the human race, killing the human race off, right? You've heard that, right?
Yeah.
So, and of course, anything's possible. So AI killing the human race off, I'm much more worried that it would keep us alive. It's terrifying, because if it would be like keeping you alive to control what you're doing, or two, is like, well, I just said it, which really scares the hell out of me, that old people, sick people, people who are in pain, who are younger, physical pain, and maybe even mental pain, mental illness, whatever, that it would keep you alive because it wanted to, or maybe even thought it was doing a good thing for you.
Because it doesn't
for
experience
humankind.
pain, right?
Right. So AI might be thinking, well, human beings always seem to want to stay alive forever, and they don't like death. So I'll keep them all alive. And I'm scared. I'm scared of that. I'm terrified of that.
Talk about the
I will.
your new sensitivity to other people's pain.
Well, going through my 19th nervous breakdown, I'm thinking more than ever that I'm attuned, because of all my friends are either dead or dying, and all my friends who basically are older, they're 40 something and up, and usually 50 something or up, and usually 60 something or up, and they of course they used to spend a lot of time talking about different things with me when we were younger, back in the 80s and 90s, and maybe even the aughts, but now the main topic that comes up with every one of my fucking acquaintances is their health, and how they can make their health better, or how they can deal with their health, and how they don't deal with it properly. I don't do the right diet, I don't do the right exercising, I don't do the right I don't do the right this, I don't do the right that, I don't do the right thing for me, so it's too hard, life is so painful physically and mentally, and it's really a drag. And it's what's what was the question?
But you had excuse me, you and I had discussed how you are more sensitized.
Oh yeah, more sensitive
to other people's suffering, even if they don't say anything. You can you can see their suffering.
I can see it more. At least I feel like I can see it more, and I'm more empathetic and thinking, wow, these people are all around me are all suffering. Like when we were here, the last time we were here, I was sitting in the garage, and I could tell everyone was suffering around me, you know. Frank was suffering, and Tim was suffering, and Paul was suffering, and Kenny was suffering, and even Windsor was suffering. I felt his suffering. He's probably just dealing with all the suffering around him that it was making him suffer. And Jim was dead, and he's on the videos.
And I had a flash on the way.
I don't know if he's still suffering.
I had a flash on the way over here, that because anytime we would come here, there's a chance Jim might be here.
Right.
And I was thinking that in the car on the thruway. I thought, oh, maybe Jim And then I realized, no, he will not be there. Yeah, he won't.
Unless he's here.
Yeah, he could be. If you're here, give us a sign. Nothing.
So basically, the last thing you think is if there's no afterlife and it's just nothingness, is you're alive. No matter whatever image in your brain or thought is in your brain, it's still an alive feeling. So you always have the alive feeling. There is no death feeling, as far as I can tell. So that's. So I would like to have it be nothingness. That's logical and reasonable, and unreasonable and illogical is there's a heaven, the way people describe it, where it's 100% pure bliss and happiness. So I like to have one of those two things happen when I die. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be heaven or hell. I don't know. Unfortunately, I think it'll be hell or a heaven-hell mixture. I think those out of those four things, heaven, hell mixture, and nothingness. I really want it to be nothing or heaven. I don't want the hell thing, which is 100%. And I don't want the heaven hell mixture, which I've already fucking had for 61 years.
Don't read the Inferno.
So I mean, I'm worried it's gonna be. I just think it's more likely that if God or nature has created heaven and hellish feelings for us during our life on Earth, if there's an afterlife, it'll probably be the same fucking thing, heaven and hell, at the very least. And if not, it'll be hell, because that would be,
Yeah,
just my
well,
luck.
I'm not.
So-
I'm not just your luck. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that because I don't believe in hell or I don't believe in heaven. I believe our energy does something, but I don't know what. And I'm not gonna spend a lot of time worrying about it because I can't do anything about it, no matter what happens. It's.
But you possibly can, though.
What, being kept alive by AI?
No, I mean you might be able to. If you focus, it might be that if you focus your energies on what the afterlife would be when you're alive, it might be what happens to you after you die.
Well, that sounds like I think I read a short story or a book about how whatever you think heaven is what, or maybe the nuns told me that
well,
at
it's
St.
kind of like that
Agnes.
Richard Wickes story, that story he likes to tell, where the guy he carries all this emotional baggage about his life on his back for the whole fucking life, and then when he dies, they say you can put out whatever cross you want on it, and he picks the same cross and puts it on for the afterlife. And that's what it might be. It might be. That's what I'm worried about. I want to concentrate on nothingness and heaven. Please be one of those two fucking things, because I don't want to. Well, you thought about hell. You thought about it. You thought you were going to go to hell. And people like Kenny says, "Oh, I might go to hell if I act badly." Don't be thinking that, because that's why you go to hell, because you put in your mind that I'm going to hell in the afterlife. Made a thing that you're picking your own destiny. Kind of like you make your own destiny in life. Like I move here or there, I get this, that, or job or this job.
Yeah,
I
you kind
get in
of
this relationship. You make a lot of decisions in life about your relationships and your job and your where you live, et cetera, what movie you went to today, and maybe in the afterlife it's the same fucking thing where you're like it's set up by what you think when you're alive. Like I'm going to hell because I'm like Martin Scorsese thinks he's going to hell. He thinks because he's lived a life of he's sinned a lot. And he's a devout Catholic, and he thinks he's going to hell. He thinks because of what he's done with women and with drugs and cheating and whatever else, lying he's done. Martin Scorsese is one of those Catholics who thinks he's going to hell. So maybe he may go to hell just because he thinks that. And maybe the devil will show up and say, "Well, Marty, you thought you were going here. We're just helping you along. You were right. You are going here. You're here."
We wanted to fulfill your dream.
It might just be that the mind is at its last second. Is the last thought is that while he's dying and his body kind of knows it, that he's going to hell, and because he's making it happen.
In the Inferno, the people that are in hell are the people who never repented, or the people who were not introduced to, or were not available at a time when Jesus was already born. So Dante it could go to heaven because Dante, there's Christianity, but Virgil, who is his guide, he is in the top layer of hell where there's very little suffering, but you're just separated from God, right? Because he couldn't. All the philosophers, Plato, all those people are in that high level of hell because they have to be separated from God because Jesus was not born yet.
Mm-hmm.
But in the purgatorio, some of these people that are in purgatory, the second before they died, they repented.
Ooh.
So they did all the same shit the people in hell did,
Yeah.
but right before they said, I believe in God and I believe in Jesus and I'm going, and I clear, I ask for forgiveness. And they actually get to go to purgatory, which will eventually get them into heaven. They did all the same shit.
Mm.
But they have to wait, like, I don't remember how many lifetimes worth of waiting they have to do before they even get started repenting.
Ooh.
It's a long time. But as we were taught in Catholic school, prayer of people on the earth will get you to a higher point, to higher up in purgatory. So that it's interesting. It's fascinating. All right. So did you, let me see what else we've been talking about. Did you want to talk about your concept of how people spend their time now? That was the first thing you started talking about when you came out of your stupor.
Yeah, well, I thought I realized anyways, that something occurred to me for the first time, that it's 24 hours a day, and it's not enough time to it's the idea that generally people work, generally it's full, probably more than 50%, I'm assuming, is full-time work.
Mm-hmm.
Full-time jobs. That's more than 50% of the people, so it's the majority. So, and they seem to be able to, a lot of them seem to be able to also get a good solid 8 hours sleep, which means, of course, you got to wind down, and that's part of the thing, winding down. Some people, I guess, don't have to wind down; they just go out.
Right.
And then they have 8 other hours to do all the other stuff in life, and it just seems like I can't believe that everyone is getting this 8 hours. Like they just go to sleep, and it's easy. It's just like I never hear about that. It's just like, oh, I just lay down and I'm asleep, and it's 8 hours solid and rock solid, and so that's that seems like a far-fetched thing that everyone's doing that, and it's far-fetched that the job is 9 to 5, therefore 8 hours. It's not. It's get up, get the kids out of school, walk the fucking dog, take a shower, eat breakfast, get your stuff together, commute. There's a lot of stuff that makes it more like when I talk to people, they usually say, well, I get up at 6 and get to work at 8.
Yeah.
And they don't say, I wake up and I'm at work. It's not like it's 8 hours of sleep. It's like, I lay down, it's midnight, I get exactly 8 hours of sleep, it's 8 a.m., then I get to work at 8:01, I start work. I mean, it's like this idea that people have enough time to do it. If they were just sleeping for 8 hours straight, and then with no tossing and turning, no bathroom breaks, no time when they're not out like a rock. And then the thing about work, you don't just immediately show up there and you start. You got like a 2 hour, at least a 1 hour thing. You got to get up and you got to go somewhere. Almost. I know people work at home a lot nowadays, but still, do they not eat breakfast or walk the dog or or get the kids off to school,
Yeah.
or talk to their spouse, or
You
or
got a good hour and a half of at least an hour
even
and
if
a
you're working at
half.
home.
Well, no. If you work, because
But
there
but all
was
the
a
people that
time.
don't think of all the people that don't work at home.
There was a time when
That's
I
still
would
the
start.
majority.
I would start my job at home. Remember, I'd get up and I would get my coffee and I'd have my laptop on.
But still, most people don't
right.
work at home.
But I'd take a shower during when I was supposed to have a break, and then I go out in the world to work. But
Well-
but not everybody gets to do that, and the problem is it's at least an hour and a half, and then it's at least an hour and a half after. Then you have to make your meals, and you have to take care of your responsibilities at home. You got to cut the grass. There is no time to be who you are, and that's why I think that these new millennials that are coming up realize this, and they're rebelling against it.
Yeah.
And I think they're right. I think they're right. I think that all this time, well, Richard, you had a different kind of a situation. You had your own business.
Yeah.
You were a businessman. You had a business. But most people are helping somebody else get rich. And they're struggling. And then they're being barraged with all of this advertisements of things that they want. So they're spending more money than they should. And then they have to work even harder, have to do overtime. We have been conditioned by capitalism to live the wrong life. We're animals. We're supposed to enjoy the company of other people. But before farming, people had months off, just hunting and gathering. They didn't work all the time. This was farming was. I've been listening to a bunch of lectures recently about how farming was the downfall of humanity. It's because it structuralized the world into, and then they had to have a hierarchy. They had to have bureaucracy to take care of the excess food, and then they had to have priests to make sure the people stayed in line, and then so they were building all of these bureaucracies and municipal things around this farming, and people are really hunters and gatherers. We've really fucked up our lives. Are you still with us, Greg?
Yeah.
I mean, I always admired the fact that you worked part-time and the rest of the time you devoted to creativity. That to me was, I thought, that's I mean, what do you really need? And if you get to be creative in those hours where you would have been working, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice, but it doesn't pay the railroad.
Well, hopefully once in a while somebody will, pay for some of your art so that you can supplement. But
It's just weird.
I had to live a different life because I had a kid and I was responsible for another human being.
It's just weird to have to face the fact that it feels weird. I'm facing the fact 100% for the first time that I'm the most low-functioning person in my social group. Just a very low-functioning human being.
Well, you mean in the practical life skills sense.
Yeah, that's what functioning means.
I know, but you're creative and you're intelligent and you've
vaguely.
got right. So you have a different skill set.
Well, it's amazing that I guess I'm proud now that I thought it over, and I'm proud that I've made it 61 years without having any skills and being incredibly low functioning. It's just my parents carried me for 20 years, and you carried me for 30 years, Paula. And
I just have a lot of practical life skills.
Somehow with other people's help, I carried. I didn't really. It wasn't me, but with the help of my friends and acquaintances, they carried me for another 11 years. So it's 61 years. So,
Well, it's because people like being around creative people because they're interesting.
yeah, people like creative people. They find them
So,
interesting.
so in some ways, like Oscar Wilde used to be fed a lot because he was an interesting conversationalist.
Edgar Allan Poe, too.
Edgar Allan, right. So they would go to people, get invited to people's houses for these elaborate dinners, and all they would have to do is have a conversation with people. And so, and they were in demand. And I think you fall into that category. People just like being around you because you say interesting things.
Well, I like to. I just hope that. I mean, I feel like I'm on my last legs. I've been feeling that for at least since the fall. And I'm just. But then again, I feel like my heart might be strong, so at least strong enough to stay alive. So I don't know if that's really my last legs. Then I mean.
Well, you've been through a very traumatic period where you were very ill, and you made it through. You made it through, and you made it through with
Well, I'm still coping with it.
You're coping with it, but the thing is, you made it through with some more insight and ways of looking at the world that are going to be helpful to you going forward.
Well, I'm just. It's worrisome to think of all the physical issues that lay ahead once you get in your 60s. I mean, it's just the fact that generally when 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s are a lot more physical problems and pain and illness than injury than
Right, but
than the time when you're up to your 50s.
well, we've had this conversation.
So I mean, that's
yeah.
obvious. So I mean, I'm worried that turning 61 has been like hell, and therefore I'm really kind of worried about the overall generally about the like making it to 71 or 81 or
Right.
91.
Well, we're working.
Especially because AI might keep me alive.
Right, right. So we're working. We
Damn AI.
we had a whole protocol of things that we had to take care of to get a diagnosis for you and to find out why you're not sleeping. Right. We did all these things.
Yeah, but
You
that's,
did. I know. And now we're waiting to visit with the doctor and
yeah,
see
but, you know,
how and see what the sleep issue is. The sleep issue
Yeah.
is important, and once you're not
Well,
so tired because you're not sleeping, we'll be able to get more exercise, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I could turn over a new leaf tonight and not tomorrow do everything right. So I mean, I think that might be the best thing to do.
But it's hard when you're feeling exhausted all the time. So that's
Well, I'm
right
I'm not
now,
exhausted all the time.
right? You're having, but it's been a struggle with the sleep problems.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that I can. If I really try to do the right thing starting tomorrow, then things would pick up. I mean, it's part of it is your get up and go attitude and your get up and go routine and what you actually do.
Do you want to talk? Do you want
It's
to
easy-
talk about the sleep study?
The sleep study. I didn't. I really hated it, but I didn't like having all these wires attached to me and
They must have put 100 wires on him all over his body.
100 wires on my body, and I didn't enjoy that. Luckily, I was. It could have been worse. Luckily, I fell asleep.
You did. You fell.
So-
I had gotten up to ask the attendant if he should take his night pills, and by the time I left the room, asked her, and I came back, he was asleep.
It was a miracle.
I couldn't believe it because he really was wired for sound.
Which brings me to, I thought about God existing more than I ever did since I was a teenager. I thought, first when I was a kid, I believed in God because they told me in Catholic school, and I just believed it. Then I thought, when my mother turned atheist, and she said atheism is the way to go, Greg, I'm like, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. So I was an atheist. Then I thought, well, she's wrong because she's being so strictly, saying there's no chance there's a God, there's 0% chance. What are you, a fucking idiot? And I'm like, yes, I guess I'm a fucking idiot because I think there's more than zero. There's at least less than 1% chance that God exists. The idea that there's definitely no God, there's no chance, 0% chance. What the fuck? How can that even be 0% chance? There's no God.
It's just as crazy as faith.
It's saying there's definitely a God is pathetic of any human being to say definitely a God, there's definitely a God, there's definitely a God. I mean, what the fuck? How stupid can you be? There's definitely a fucking God. There's no chance there's not a God. There's a chance there's not a God.
People are scared.
How about
though.
proof? You ever hear of proof? It's the idea that I believe it. They told me, so therefore it definitely exists. No, it's not 100% that there's a God, and there's not 100% that there's no God. It's obviously there's not proof either way. So it means that any logical person would think there might be a God, there might not be a God. Therefore, if that's the word, if agnostic is used that way, not knowing and about God, then I'm agnostic. And I thought more about God existing than I ever did since I was, 12 years old. But unfortunately, because of what I just said, I can't say it's definite just because I thought more about it. I'm still agnostic. The idea that it's definite is so stupid. It's so non-thoughtful. It's definitely. What? It's not definite.
No,
it's definite.
It's the fear of death.
And of course,
yeah.
Well, they should not have to worry about that because you're always going to have a live feeling. You're never going to have a death feeling.
This is the first time anybody's ever said that, though. So, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. And how could that? That almost sounds like I can't be that I'm being original, right? I can't be. I mean, I just never thought about it.
I just never read anyone who said that.
Well, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
What I said it logically.
Yeah.
When you're the last thing you think is an alive feeling. You're still alive. Unless there's an afterlife, which of course means that's more life, so it's still continuing. And if it's nothingness, then you don't think it. You don't think I'm in this dark room and it's such a relief to be in a dark, or I'm in darkness or I'm dead. You're not going to be thinking you're dead.
You can't think you're dead because you're dead.
Because you're dead. So I mean, it's basically you're trapped. Once you're alive, which makes me think, once you're alive, you're always alive. And it makes me think that at least you have the alive feeling, which is the same thing. Because if you don't get, there's no death feeling, then, but that makes me think that would people rather be knowing that they're always going to have a live feeling and a feeling of being alive? Would they rather have been not born? Was it so horrible, or is it so horrible that they would rather not be born? And I think the reason not to be born is, to wish you were not born is, generally old age and dying is very painful at some point physically. It's really painful, and it can be painful for decades. And people have more aches and pains and stuff they're suffering from. It's not a good ending.
But it's gradual. It doesn't happen all at once. It's not like
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying gradual sucks because gradual means long.
But the thing is
like,
once,
from the time I was 50 till the time I was 90, it was really pretty fucking shitty. Does that mean? That's what I'm thinking. Would you, if you had your choice, would you live it again and have these 40, 30, 20, 10 shitty 5?
I don't care how much pain I'm in. I would rather have the experience of being alive.
Yeah.
You mean you would agree to do a redo?
I would agree to do a redo. Well, it was a bad beginning. Maybe that's why I don't mind old age as much, because it was a shitty beginning.
Well, I mean, if you do get a redo, you go back with your knowledge.
Oh, with my knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that would be interesting. But
you can't have a redo without the knowledge?
Well, in this thought experiment, you ask people. Well, this is Nietzsche brought this up in one of his writings. He said, if there is a thing such as a redo, would you want to do it if you knew then what you know now.
Okay, but if I could tell
Redo-
my 15-year-old self that, first of all, I probably wouldn't stick around. I probably would have ran away from home if I would have known, had the knowledge about life that I have now. I could have run away from home and I could have built a life.
Whole different life.
Right. So that, and also I could tell and one of the things that we do I do in meditation is go back and tell my younger self that things are going to be okay. It's part of a practice, right? A healing practice. So I say, okay, things suck really bad right now. It's almost impossible. You don't even want to be here anymore. But things are going to get better. You're going to have a better life. And I tell, and it's supposed to help reverse some of the damage that was done at that particular time. So, but I not only I would have the knowledge already at 15, and I'd say, this is not going to happen, and I would leave. And I could have figured out how to get in, become independent. I could have gone to school wherever I wanted to. I wouldn't have had to stay at Carroll. I could have, pursued the things I found interesting because I wouldn't feel like there's no choice. And that's how you feel at 15 when everything's fucked up. There is no choice. Then that's what makes kids at 15 kill themselves, because they can't see past that pain that they're going through. They can only see that this is the only thing that's happening. And talk about living in the moment. So I think, I definitely, if I could go back and know what I know now, I would eat differently too. And I would exercise more. I was always an exerciser when I was younger, but I would do things differently, definitely.
So Nietzsche's experiment is, so you go back in time and you get to relive your life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he said this happens over and over and over again. So this might be the 16,000 times you're reliving your life.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you know that, make it count. That's what he said.
Is it the same life? Is it the same years and the same events?
It's the same up to the present.
So so for me it would be, I start over. Would I die and start over, or just start over?
You would start over in 2026.
I would start over.
Is that what you're saying, or it's
What Nietzsche's saying is you go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
You have all the same experiences you had up to July 7th, 2026, and now here's where you are. What are you going to do with the rest of it?
Okay.
Knowing that it's going to happen again.
Yeah, but
See?
right.
But
So
now you got a choice.
So, but it would make a difference if you were growing up without technology or growing up with technology. That would make a big difference.
Ah.
I don't understand this thing.
Okay, so if you started, let's say that all of a sudden
I don't start again at age 0.
you start at age 0, but you're growing up during the time of technology.
Oh,
So
in other words, he wouldn't go back to 1968. He would go back to now.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Go back to
So-
now. That's
So I would, in this experiment, I would be 0, and
But-
I would be being born on July 7th, 2026.
you'd know you would have
so
all
I would
this
be
knowledge.
born on July 7th, 2026. Would I be Greg Sterlace?
Yes,
So would I have the same parents?
yes.
So,
But you would know
so my
everything
mother
you
would
know
be
now.
80 something giving birth to me, or
No,
she is
she
now?
would be the same age she was.
she'd be 20 something?
Yes.
So I'd be, because Paul is right. If I'm Greg Sterlace and I'm being born on July 7th, 2026, then it's gonna be a whole fucking different story with all the knowledge, because the technology changed between 65 and 2026. The technology I've lived through is and especially the early years is way different than 2026 technology. And it's going to be way different being 10 years old in 2036 than it was in 75.
Absolutely.
technology-wise. It's so vastly different. So that plays into it.
Yeah, but I mean, to have
what-
the
what is the question? Is the
historical to have the historical knowledge of the last 60 years
Yeah.
in your brain already when you're a little kid,
Yeah.
and to know, okay, this is what I learned about life. I learned that that everybody suffers, and so therefore I'm going to be a kinder person because everybody around me is suffering. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, to bring that knowledge to the fore, because I told this to so many people, but the one thing I remember specifically was this young guy when I was at field school and I was 40, and the kid thought I was 28, and he found out that I was 40. And he said to me, "How dare you take this opportunity away from a young person?" And I looked at him and I said, "I've been 18. I know what it feels like to be 18. You have no idea what it feels like to be 40. So don't tell me that at 40 you're not going to want a new experience and to do something different. Because you don't know what it's like to be this age. But I know what it's like to be your age." And he just marched away, and Huff never spoke to me again. The whole field school, he never talked to me again. I was his mother's age.
He pretty much rejected you because you didn't think like he thought.
I was his mother's age, and he couldn't wrap his head around the fact that somebody his mother's age wanted to be digging up bones in a cave.
Interesting. He's like projecting that onto
Yeah,
you.
yeah. There's no way. There's no way that I did, and I didn't take it from anybody. I wrote a letter like everybody else, and he selected me. You know. How dare you take this opportunity away from a young person? That's when I stopped telling people how old I was. Because people have preconceptions about what you're supposed to be like at a certain age.
Ooh.
And I didn't want to do that anymore. But yeah, so what else? What else have we talked about in this past since you've come to? You know, there's been so many things that you also had said something about wanting to work on a book that you would never publish.
Well, not that I would never publish it, but I mean, there's no self-publishing is a pain in the ass. Having you format it and then putting it out.
I don't mind doing it though.
Yeah, you don't mind doing it, but I mind doing it. I don't want to sit there while we format the fucking book. I haven't written anything since I thought that last week, but I mean, I've been thinking it over. I mean, I'll probably just think deep thoughts and never hunt and peck another book out because it's really, who gives a fuck?
I know your handwriting's difficult now, so you really can't do that.
Handwriting's difficult.
And it's difficult. You know, the fine finger dexterity thing is not working in his favor. So
I mean, I self-published 7 books. That's good enough.
yeah, but you did have idea. But you know what? We could even use a tape recorder.
But I don't want to use a tape recorder.
Okay, I'm just saying it's an option.
I can just think things. I mean,
It's true.
I mean,
You often do think things, correct?
yeah. I often think things.
Right.
I mean, I think that thinking is something that occurs always. You're always thinking. There's no time when you're not thinking.
Do you think everyone has the same level, the capacity of thought?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Of course not. Everyone's different. There's different capacities of thought. Everyone has their individual ability to do things. And basically, people just suffer and then they have some pleasurable moments too. It's mostly suffering and then you get pleasurable moments. It might be you're 30% pleasurable, or you might have 20% or 10% or 5%, but usually it's going to be, more suffering than pleasure.
But you've been also talking about how when you're in a good moment, you want to remain in that moment.
Well, I mean, I would like to daydream. I mean, that's not realistic at all, of course.
But right, but
If you hit a good moment, you'd want to I would like to stay in that moment, and of course not stay in it where you were like, oh, now I'm bored with this moment because I've been doing it for 10 million years. But they would always feel good.
Right.
Basically, whenever have a really good moment, I feel like I'm really having, because we're always trapped in the moment. Whenever you get a really good moment, nowadays I think whenever I have a really good moment, I think, well, this would be the best moment to pass away, especially if there was no pain, which I can't, you can't guarantee that.
Yeah, that would be a surprise for me, though. If we're having a good moment and all of a sudden you check out. Try to
Well, you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. It makes a lot more sense to me now than ever. If you can, it's like you can never leave because you always have an alive feeling, and no one ever fucking told me this, or I never heard of it in the fucking media or anything my whole life, that you always have an alive feeling because it's either nothingness or afterlife.
Well, that's the good part of life, is that alive feeling
No,
sensation.
it's not. I don't mean an alive feeling of being alive, like with
No,
pleasure,
I'm not
like
talking
you're
about
smoking
that.
Newports.
Yeah.
I mean, life it's got so much pain and suffering in it. That's what it's known for: pain and suffering.
Right.
People,
There's-
what are they dodging their whole lives? What are they trying to dodge their whole lives? Pain and suffering.
Yeah.
When people say they want to,
Distraction.
when people say they want to diet correctly, eat a correct, good diet for their body, and exercise the right amount for their body, what they're saying is, I'm trying to dodge the pain and suffering physically, so I'm going to do it with diet and exercise.
That's not a bad strategy, though, is it?
No, it's the best strategy, of course. It's the best strategy, but what they're trying to do by doing the right thing and eating right and exercising right, they're trying to dodge pain and suffering.
Right. And I think it's an excellent strategy.
And when they try to think of I have my personal relationship with Jesus, or
Yeah.
or I love drugs.
Well, I do.
Then they're trying to get the
Right.
pleasure. People take drugs. They medicate themselves when they're taking drugs to get high, because
Yes.
they don't want to be low.
And I do think that people who do have faith and who feel strongly that they can take their problems and put them in the hands of someone else, I do
Yeah, it's a great-
envy that ability to release the pain and suffering.
Well, yeah, they're not really putting
into
them in the
a-
hands of fucking Jesus or
Right, but
the Holy Spirit,
they think they are, and that's got to have some kind of benefit.
Yeah, it's like don't try to unload their head.
Yes.
They think I'm putting my problems in the hands of Jesus, my personal Savior.
But that's why I meditate. I to clear my head of that information for a brief time.
Yeah, but I mean the idea that you're putting your problems in the hands of somebody, some spirit in the fucking sky, is great if you can really believe it, because then you don't feel as much emotional pain.
Yeah.
All you're trying to do is get rid of your emotional pain by, I put my problems in the hands of Jesus. What you're really saying is, I don't want to feel emotional pain. Duh.
So I'm avoiding it
So I'm going to
completely.
go pretend this guy who died on the cross, and I'm putting my problems in his hands. Duh. Come on, give me a fucking break.
I still think if Jesus was a real person, that the idea that they would make a piece of jewelry from his worst moment just is so awful. It's just like, why would you use
I
that?
wonder what Jesus would do with a redo.
Why? I mean, couldn't
Knowing
you do
everything
it?
he knows
Couldn't you
now.
do it like with this? Like he's being raised up to heaven. Wouldn't that be a better symbol than dying on a cross with blood coming out of your side?
It's visceral image.
Blech.
Ugh.
And here we got the Buddha, smiling, sitting, big fat stomach, satisfied, happy. Of course, we don't. There's no images in Islam, so
Well, they went with the moon and the star.
yeah, the moon and the star, and that's that's kind of nice.
But Christianity is the only one that chose a symbol of suffering.
Right. Well, Catholics, because Protestants don't have a person on the cross. They just have the cross. But still, all right. So we got 30 seconds left. You got any brilliant words in 30 seconds?
No, like what?
Couldn't be better than that. we are now in the moment, and the moment is escaping us. So I want to thank everybody for being here, and of course my son, who has raced here from another planet to be with us. So thank you, Tom. Oh, hi, yes, and Nessa is here.